For great adventures with On Cloud shoes from Lionel Smith Limited. Choose from a great selection of On Clouds for men and women in a wide variety of colors, styles, and fits. Walk on clouds every day with Swiss engineered On Cloud shoes from Lionel Smith Limited. Book direct flights to Washington, D.C. at flyags.com. The Live Viper 6 Skyview Network, sponsored by Terry Lambert Hyundai.
Dry air pushing in behind a stationary front. Details coming up in your Viper 6 forecast.
Right now on News Channel 6 at 4, an investigation underway after a student is shot at an Augusta high school. What we know so far.
Plus, the family of a local man who died while in police custody calling for justice, where the investigation stands now.
And will the owner of the winning Powerball ticket please come forward? It was purchased in North Augusta. It's worth some decent money. What happens if nobody claims it? As your news at 4 starts now.
Live from Television Park, this is WJBF News Channel 6 at 4.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Brad Means.
And I'm Jenny Montgomery. Thank you so much for joining us. Coverage you can count on begins with government and education leaders speaking up after a Richmond County school shooting left one person injured.
It started this morning with a fight between two students in the Josie High School cafeteria. One of the students pulled a gun and shot the other child. News Channel 6's Renata DuBose joining us live at Board of Education headquarters with details on the suspect and the victim. And Renata, we got some information this afternoon from law enforcement and school system leaders.
Brad, that press conference wrapped up about a half an hour ago. Sheriff Richard Roundtree, the marshal, the chief of police for the BOE, joined education leaders to update the public about what's going on. So far, as you said, we do know that an argument started at the school in the cafeteria around 11 o'clock, and 2 people were involved in that. 1 person was shot and injured. The victim received medical attention and should be okay. The sheriff tells us the suspect is a child, so they can't release a name or any identifying information about that person. Now, he said during the press conference that the suspect is a Josie student and he's known to students and the school. The sheriff also says Superior Court will get this case as they work to find him. Now, we questioned Superintendent Bradshaw about metal detectors. He says there are none at Josie at this time, and he's not even sure one would have detected a gun, but he wants us to know the best search are parents.
I want to share the importance of parents and guardians communicating with their children about this unfortunate incident that impacted 2 schools. We rely on parents and guardians to guide their children in keeping prohibited items out of our schools. Please have conversations with your children about solving problems without violence. Inspect their belongings when they come to school and be engaged with your children and with our school.
Now, both Josie High School and nearby Murphy Middle School were searched and put on lockdown during this shooting incident. Now, we did ask Dr. Bradshaw if students will return to school tomorrow, and he says they're still meeting about that very thing and will let us know. And we will let you know as soon as we do. Live in Augusta, Renata DuBose, WJBF News Channel 6. Back to you.
All right, Renata, we appreciate it. Meanwhile, the family of a man who died after he was tased by Burke County deputies says they want justice.
61-year-old Freddie Walker was schizophrenic, and the family says sheriff's office employees need more training on how to handle mental illness cases. Hannah Latier joins us now to tell us what actions they're taking.
Walker's family has hired a lawyer and tell us they are working on filing a lawsuit against the Burke County Sheriff's Office for how deputies handled the incident at the end of July. They say that Walker should not have been tased multiple times during the schizophrenic episode, and that deputies should have used de-escalation techniques and asked questions beforehand. They believe this would have prevented Walker's death. They also think the paramedics on the scene could have done more. In a video statement released after the incident, Sheriff Alfonso Williams said he believes the deputies didn't violate any laws, and that usually if someone dies after being tased, it is due to an underlying health condition. In a statement sent to us today, the sheriff's office apologized to the family and then said, in part, our deputies undergo TASER certification training as well as the yearly recertification, which is required by the manufacturer and by the department. Sometimes there are not enough resources available in certain areas for people who might experience a mental crisis. It went on to say that they hope the state of Georgia will start doing more to protect mental health patients and provide more funding for mental health resources.
They said that they did the best that they could. We don't feel that way, but that's about all we got from them. Sorry to cut it. So we can't bring them back, but moving forward, we need to get adequate training so that this doesn't happen to another family.
The Columbia County Sheriff's Office is investigating the incident. They tell us it's under final review and will then be passed along to the district attorney. Sheriff Williams said in the video statement that body cam footage will be released when the investigation is complete. We are still waiting on an autopsy report, and you can read more about this case at WJBF.com. Jenny?
All right, Hannah, thank you so much. Turning now to a check of our forecast and a break from the...
Coming up in your Viper 6 forecast. Back to you.
All right, Miller, thanks so much. The search is on for the owner of a winning Powerball ticket. The $50,000 ticket was bought at an Aiken County gas station back in February.
It expires next week. Bria Smith has the latest on the search for that lucky person.
That ticket was sold right here at the Circle K in North Augusta 172 days ago, and players have 180 days to claim, leaving a little bit more than just a week for players to claim their prize.
I be jumping up and down right now, but I will be checking my ticket out.
And we do apologize for that technical difficulty, but we do want you to know this. For more information on claiming prizes and checking your numbers, go to sceducationlottery.com.
Maybe King Lawrence won it. He's stepping down from his job. Aiken County school leaders having to search for...
The live Viper 6 Skyview Network, sponsored by Terry Lambert Hyundai.
I bet you can tell the difference how it feels outside this afternoon compared to the way it was yesterday. Our heat index not nearly as horrible as it was yesterday. How long will this last? We'll talk about that in your Viper 6 forecast straight ahead.
Right now on News Channel 6 at 6, a shooting at Josie High School in Augusta will bring you the latest details.
Plus, cutting grass in Augusta. Why city leaders say landscaping is a priority for them.
And a family still seeking answers after their loved one died in police custody. We'll hear from both sides of this case as your News at 6 starts now.
Live from Television Park, this is WJBF News Channel 6 at 6.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Brad Haynes.
And I'm Jenny Montgomery. Thank you for joining us. Coverage you can count on continues with the latest on a developing story out of Richmond County. The Sheriff's Office and school leaders are still investigating a shooting at TW Josie High School that left one student injured.
News Channel 6's Renetta DuBose was at a news conference after the incident, and Renetta joining us live tonight where we found out more today about the suspect and the victim.
We know this all started in the cafeteria here at Josie when two students got into an argument and one of them was shot. The sheriff says the suspect is a Josie student and he's warning people to not protect this person. The victim, though, is expected to be okay. We spoke with Superintendent Bradshaw, too, about metal detectors at Josie. He says there are none right now and he's not even sure they would have detected a gun.
I want to share the importance of parents and guardians communicating with their children about this unfortunate incident that impacted two schools. We rely on parents and guardians to guide their children in keeping prohibited items out of our schools. Please have conversations with your children about solving problems without violence. Inspect their belongings when they come to school, and be engaged with your children and with our school.
Now, the school district announced that Josie High, Murphy Middle, and Marion E. Barnes Career Center will all be closed tomorrow out of an abundance of caution. Now, we do know that teachers return on Friday, and students and staff, all the normal business hours will happen on Monday. That's when everybody will go back. Now, the counselors will be present Monday as well. They're still deciding on whether there will be athletics. They will make that decision tomorrow. Augusta's Mayor Garnett Johnson also weighing in on this incident, sharing his sentiments, and he wants everyone in the city to know that he's calling on adults to roll up their sleeves and help mentor our city's youth. Live in Augusta, Renetta DuBose, WJBF News Channel 6. Back to you.
All right, Renetta, thank you for that live report. A Burke County man who died after being tased by deputies was buried this morning, and his family wants justice. 61-year-old Freddie Walker was schizophrenic. The family says Sheriff's Office employees need more training on how to handle mental illness cases. Hannah Latier joins us now to tell us what actions they're taking.
Walker's family has hired a lawyer, and they tell us they are working on filing a lawsuit against the Burke County Sheriff's Office for how deputies handled the incident at the end of July.
There were different avenues they could have taken to handle that situation, like I said before, with Mace. And there was enough people around where they could have restrained Freddie.
Palmer says that Walker should not have been tased multiple times during the schizophrenic episode, and that deputies should have used de-escalation techniques and asked questions beforehand. They believe this would have prevented Walker's death. They also think the paramedics on the scene could have done more.
The goal is to file a lawsuit, not only that, but to get the proper training so that this doesn't happen to another family.
In a video statement released after the incident, Sheriff Alfonso Williams said he believes the deputies didn't violate any laws.
We do realize that people across the country have died after being tased, and usually there is some underlying medical condition. Mr. Walker's body will go to the crime lab for an autopsy, and we'll await those results.
In a statement sent to us on Wednesday, the Sheriff's Office apologized to the family and then said, in part, "Our deputies undergo TASER certification training as well as the yearly recertification, which is required by the manufacturer and by the department. Sometimes there are not enough resources available in certain areas for people who might experience a mental crisis." It went on to say that they hope the state of Georgia will start doing more to protect mental health patients and provide more funding for mental health resources.
My Uncle Freddie, he was one of the best men I ever met in my life. I ain't never seen a bad bone in his body or ankle bone in his body, never. And that's the type of man I want to remember him as. Yeah. Now that we fight for justice for him, I feel like it should never came to that. That's something that hurt me and my family dearly. And I just hope we can move past from that.
Now, the Columbia County Sheriff's Office is investigating the incident. They tell us it's under final review and will then be passed along to the district attorney. Sheriff Williams said in the video statement that body cam footage will be released when the investigation is complete. We're still waiting on an autopsy report, and you can read more about this case at WJBF.com. Jenny?
All right, Hannah, thank you. New tonight, search warrants have been executed at 6 massage parlors in North Augusta. SLED announced a joint operation with Homeland Security and Immigration was carried out this afternoon. Details are limited on the operation, including the exact location of the massage parlors. But count on News Channel 6 for more on this developing story.
Right now, though, it is time for a check of our weather. Yeah, if you had to name a problem that really makes the phone ring off the hook at City Hall in Augusta, it's overgrown grass. But before city leaders get to cutting, there's going to be some conversation. Senior reporter George Escala has the story.
Grass towering over the streets of Augusta, getting it cut, a priority issue for city leaders.
This is one of the simplest deliverables that we can grant to our constituents. Just giving them pride in having a clean city, a maintained right-of-way.
But before the city get the right-of-ways looking right, they're planning to discuss how to do it right, holding a work session to discuss how to improve city maintenance.
Well, let's have some good dialogue on it, because again, it becomes sometimes in our government, it's not my responsibility, it's their responsibility, or, not my area, it's their area.
But the talk will not only be about grass. City leaders will also use the time to debate whether Augusta needs a full-time arborist to make decisions about city trees.
I'm wholeheartedly in support of having an arborist, and I think it'll benefit the city of Augusta.
City leaders may talk about an arborist, but that doesn't mean they all think one needs to be on staff full-time.
Because we already have consultants that we work with. We already have professional arborists that we pull information from to make sure that we're successful in our endeavors.
Augusta can see the problems from the grass and the trees. Problems the city plans to workshop. In Augusta, George Escala, WJBF, News Channel 6.
Coming up, a local superintendent calling it a career.
We'll hear from King Lawrence about his time in Aiken County next.
Aiken County school leaders will soon be on the search for a new superintendent. This after King Lawrence announced his resignation. At a special called meeting Tuesday, Lawrence announced he's stepping down after the 23-24 school year to dedicate time to be with his family. He says he's committed to continuing his work until the end of his term.
Moving forward, we will continue to work with law enforcement agencies to secure school resource officers for all of our schools, upgrade facilities to maximize security, and practice our emergency response procedures.
Search details aren't out yet. Lawrence's retirement will be discussed at a meeting next week.
Dr. Paulette Harris, a strong advocate for literacy, founded the Augusta University Literacy Center back in 1990. We told you about the renaming of that center in her honor. It's because she helped so many children, thousands, and adults too, learn to read. Her passion came from her belief that knowing how to read makes life better for everybody. It was important for her to provide free, high-quality tutoring to anyone who needs it.
Well, when you hear people talk about her legacy, you hear about how she instilled in them that same passion that she had. So I think it was that personal touch that she had with people that really, she looked at them and said, I believe in you. I know what you're capable of, and I'm here to help you.
For information on services or how to volunteer at the Literacy Center, just go to WJBF.com.
And Tim is joining us now for another check of the weather.
Yeah, let's look at today. Boy, what a difference a day makes, right? Our high today, 89 compared to yesterday's 97. We'll take that any old day. We're going to continue this trend of some pretty nice temperatures and lower humidity. We'll full look at your 5 to 6 forecast today.
All right, thank you, Tim.
Coming up, we check in at football practice with the Georgia Southern Eagles.
And the Braves do something they haven't done since 2016 with their win over the Yankees in sports.
You have what it takes to be a Border Bowl cheerleader? Tryouts will be held on Sunday, August 27th at Lincoln County High School and First Baptist Church of North Augusta. Register now at WJBF.com/cheer. Weather headlines on News Channel 6, brought to you by Jamie Casino Injury Attorneys. The News Channel 6 mobile app is now even better. Download it today. Now, WJBF sports coverage you can count on.
Georgia Southern Eagles open the football season Saturday, September 2nd at home against the Citadel. They were 6-7 last year in Clay Helton's first full season as head coach. Last season, they had the top passing offense in the Sun Belt Conference. This year, they bring in Tulsa transfer quarterback Davis Brin. Helton has named him the starter already on defense. They brought in Brandon Bailey to improve the defense, which ranked last in total defense in the conference. And Helton's hoping the offense can carry the load for the Eagles early on.
But very pleased with the kids' energy, their focus, their want to, their work ethic. It's our job as coaches to make sure that we perfect what we do. That's why they pay us.
I feel like, I've gained that respect in that leadership role. You can't just come in straight away and, start making demands like you're the guy, but you got to ease into that leadership role, and that comes with just earning their respect.
Their other non-conference games are at home against UAB, then at Wisconsin, at Ball State. In the NFL, former Silver Bluff Bulldog DeMarcus Tank Lawrence ready for year 10 in the league with the Dallas Cowboys. selected to the Pro Bowl in 2022, third time in his career, 54 and a half career sacks, but he's adapted his game from strictly hunting quarterbacks to stopping the run and doing more pass coverage, and happy to adapt in the ever-changing world in the NFL.
I feel like I want to, be more dominant. I feel like I can play a bigger role in, taking my dominance to the next level, especially, being more familiar with the defense and understanding, what my back row responsibilities are.
Lawrence and the Cowboys open the season on Sunday Night Football on the road at the Giants September 10th. Braves have outscored the Yankees 16-3. They go for the sweep tonight. Last night, Bryce Elder, 7 innings, 1 hit. In Game 2 was the first one-hit shutout by any Braves pitcher since 2016. He did it by getting lots of ground balls that led to 3 double plays with him on the mound, all part of the plan.
I mean, it's everything. I think I've been falling behind the past couple weeks, and to get some early ground balls there and just kind of get some action and get the guys behind me back kind of on their toes. I guess being out of the zone kind of lulls them to sleep, and I think that they're always making plays for me, but when they know it's going to be on the ground immediately, they're always ready. So I thought it was good.
Another fun fact, Matt Olson leads Major League Baseball in home runs and RBI. The last Brave to do that, Hank Aaron, 1957. Braves having a historic season right now.
Unbelievable. Fun to watch. We'll be right back.